Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to welcome you back to the car. I'm actually very excited that I'm going back to the painting with a twist class. And this time we're painting snow owls. Is it snowy owls? I think it's just snow owls. And I'm going with a relatively new friend, someone that was sort of part of a group that came together this past year. But we have never done anything together. So we're just going to meet for lunch before and enjoy it. I'm not going to vlog during it just because, I don't know how she would feel about that. And, I probably should just focus on the painting and us and conversation. So I thought I'd take you at least for the ride because we have neon this weekend. And I never really can seem to find a space, like a quiet space, to do a video. And since a lot of people don't mind riding in the car while I talk, that's fine. And I've seen a lot of criticisms, not to me directly, but about vlogging in general while driving. And I do think it can be dangerous. I don't think anybody should be looking into the camera while moving a vehicle. But I try not to do that. And I kind of think you're sitting next to me. And if somebody was in the car with me, I would certainly talk. But I wonder if, this will be a movement about being up in arms about that. So I may, my days in the car might be limited unless I just sit here in the driveway. Anyway, I'm not getting anywhere this way. So, excuse me while I go off camera. All right. So, without further ado, let's get the party started. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about was to follow up on my oncology appointment that I had a couple weeks ago. We made appointments for specialists. She ordered a DEXA scan, which is a bone density scan. Like I said, a lot of my symptoms might just be getting older. I certainly don't want to find out I have cancer in my bones, but I really, really doubt it. I know that this cancer has moved in that direction for some people, but I don't think it's a common metastasis. Did I just say that right? Wow. And I do think I have some severe arthritis, so I think I have to go down that route. I thought it might be part of my Dupuytren's contracture disease, but let me just make sure I know where I'm going. Yeah, I do know where I'm going. Okay, never mind. I don't know where that heads because I've never really addressed my arthritis, although I know I've had it for some time. And it's a little bit in my feet, but it's very much so in my hands. And I just thought it was all the same, but apparently not. The specialist that I saw for the Dupuytren's felt it was not part of the same issue. So my oncologist, I asked her about a DEXA scan. She goes, "Oh, I'll just order it for you." So after that, I did get the scan. Didn't take very long to get it, but the results do take a while. And they said about 10 days. So I got it about a week ago. So I'm hoping to have the results in a few days. And I don't even know what a DEXA scan report looks like. I wasn't even sure what the machine looked like, but I took a picture of it, even though I got off of the table and I asked if I could take a picture of it, and she was like, okay. So I guess that's against policy, but it's just an x-ray machine where you lay down, really. So I took a picture and I just said, it's just for my husband. He wanted to know what this was about. So, do what you got to do. So that was my first experience with that. And it was so easy. I mean, it was even easier than a CT scan. And it was very quick. I also have been experiencing a lot more gastro issues. And, this is about our health. I don't mind saying it. I haven't needed my Miralax the way the doctor has wanted me to take it every day. There was 2 months I didn't even need it. And then after 2 months, one day I just was constipated. And I'm staying on my low fiber diet for the most part. I mean, every diet is in moderation. You can't kill yourself. For instance, if I do have a bagel, it is definitely not like an everything bagel. So I compromise there. So I'm not supposed to have a lot of seeds and that kind of thing. But if that's what's available, I'll eat it. But I'm very mindful in any case. I guess that's the important part of it. And I don't want to put myself in a position that I could get a bowel obstruction. So I'm going to go see a gastroenterologist, a gastro guy. And that may result in, I don't know, that could result in an endoscopy or colonoscopy, which I'm due for in a couple of years anyway. So maybe we'll do that. Let's just see if there's anything going on in there. I think what I'd really like is them to say, here, swallow the camera and let's just follow it down. That would be kind of cool, actually. Especially if there was an app that I could watch it. Of course, they have to have that, right? With a lot of my intestines sort of fused together, it's almost like one piece. There could be a lot of constriction, and it would be interesting to see if I was vulnerable to a bowel obstruction, where would that be happening? Is there a place now that is kind of narrowing? So I certainly have a lot of questions for this doctor, but I don't know how much of it is, beyond his realm, out of his wheelhouse, or maybe not even interested. Some doctors are like that. Doctors do dismiss things, but I don't mind a doctor saying that's not really necessary, but just give me a reason. I guess I'm very inquisitive. I always have been, especially with health concerns, but until I was in my late 30s, I really didn't have a lot of health concerns. In my 40s, this all started. The other thing is that, back to the bones, chemotherapy itself can have a lot of long-term effects down the road. And they don't talk much about that. And maybe I'll do another video about that. But issues with the bones can be one of those problems. Now, you don't get arthritis in the bones. That's strictly in the joints. But there could be other things going on. I do have some bone pain once in a while. But, unless I get some more tests, I don't know why I don't have my sunglasses on. Unless I get some more tests, we probably won't really know. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had smudges on my glasses, and that's challenging enough to do while you're driving, let alone get distracted. So anyway, I will definitely think about doing a video on long-term effects of chemo and different types of chemo, because each chemo is pretty unique to side effects and things like that. But it's something that they don't talk about. They just say, well, you need it because, otherwise you could die. And they don't really talk about the long-term effects. And a lot of people, honestly, I never thought to ask about them because, you're living in the moment when you have cancer. And if you're living in the future when you have cancer, it's usually the fear of a grim outlook. So it's, it doesn't make it any less important. But what if you knew that there was a good risk that something was going to fall apart 10 years from now because of that chemo? Well, then you could be more mindful about taking care of that particular part. So if I had known about like bone issues, maybe I would have taken calcium from day one. And I didn't. I wasn't even advised about calcium until I had bariatric surgery, because there are some malabsorption issues with, they thought just by the bypasses, or the what is it called? The gastric bypass. But the gastric sleeve, apparently, a lot of people have some malabsorption issues with that too. And that's another thing. I'm also going to get some more blood work, and that's going to consist of where all my levels are. Where my potassium and my D and certain things that might be considered a little concerning. There was even a time, I could have been a little bit anemic. So I had started some iron, and that could also just be age. We start depleting things. We don't replenish quite as easily, and that's what they're for. So I think I'll also take you on a tour of my medicine drawer. That would be interesting. I don't take every medicine every day, and some of them that I should, I don't. It's exhausting. I got so tired of taking pills at some point. It was just like, just give me the gummy form or the liquid under the tongue. Let me taste some sugar. I don't know. But yeah, to swallow like 30 pills a day is a little crazy, especially for someone who's not actually on cancer treatments right now. I'm just trying to keep it together. All right, so that's the report on my health. I just wanted to give you an update, and honestly, I wasn't sure where else I'm going to have time. Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving week, so happy Thanksgiving. I think that I might put this on Thanksgiving, and maybe I'll just add a little something to it. I think for the first time, I am not making a turkey. Chris is not a big fan of turkey. I really only like the dark meat and the skin, to be quite frank. So the last time I made a turkey, we had a lot of leftover, and we don't have neon on Thanksgiving. So it's just the two of us, unless we're invited somewhere. And the fact is, I'm probably going to be shopping tomorrow for it. So we'll probably just plan on staying home. But in any case, there's a little place nearby that is a Mennonite run grocery, and they actually have these pork chops that are, oh my gosh, out of this world. We used to live closer to them, so it's going to be a little bit of a drive, but it will be so worth it because they just get their meat from the farm, the local farms. And that is the one thing about being in Lancaster County. You have a lot of farm fresh food. The downside is you really don't get any fresh seafood. We don't have any water here, but that's okay. I get my fill of sushi once in a while. And I think that pork chops, and we want to keep it low carb, so Chris would prefer stuffing over potatoes. So we will have pork chops, mushroom stuffing, and some kind of green, probably a green bean, but not green bean casserole. That is just not my thing. I think that's like a level of all kinds of wrong. And I'm thinking about also making a pumpkin pie. I believe we have a crust in the freezer, but it's been in there a long time, so I have to make sure that's not freezer burnt. And I really just need a can of pumpkin. I've got the other ingredients already. And so that's pretty exciting. There's a lot of construction around here. Talk to you in a little bit. Okay, bye. Happy birthday, Sagittarius. I didn't forget you. Let's do your cards. Talk about the next year and what it's going to mean to you. So, Sagittarius, good people, very deep thinkers, very kind. Sometimes they talk too much. Sometimes some of them, if they're not well balanced, can gossip. If they are well balanced, then they speak truth, and they're just open and friendly. And they have a lot of other traits, but this reading is more about what's going on for the next year for you, Sag. Okay, theme card for the next year is longevity. I love this card because it is about strength and realizing this is a marathon and not a sprint. It can also be about concerns over health, or perhaps you just taking better care of yourself. So health is a strong aspect, but it can also be, a downfall. So we'll see with the other cards where that comes into play, if there are things you need to be concerned about, or if you're just motivated to do better this year. So we're going to move forward into, we'll talk about December, January, and February. We have the need to balance life, and you'll have that opportunity over the holidays, kind of getting a break. Okay, if you're a caregiver, for instance, there might be a little bit of respite, but you need to make sure you take care of you. All right, you are great caretakers. You want to be there for everybody else, but you have to also come in that mix. All right, and also worrying too much. You might be worrying too much when the universe knows what it's doing. There's a need to make a new commitment to the self coming in a couple of months. I'm going to say January is the month of commitment. And it is also the time that we do New Year's resolutions, for instance. But this is the time for you to really assess what 2025 means to you and making the changes you need to. And that goes back to this is a marathon and not a sprint idea. And whether it's New Year's resolutions or just wanting to hit the refresh button, it's going to be a good time for you. It is also suggested February and March that you follow your bliss. It's very important that maybe you need to dust off some old dreams, make some new goals, but you have got to find your joy. Okay, even if it's at the cost of something else, just understand that if you don't come first once in a while, so this is where the self-care comes in, and your health will suffer for it. It will suffer maybe mentally and emotionally, not necessarily physically, but we all need a little mental health break, don't we? And then we'll go into the spring. Springtime is good. There's possibility of more income. There seems to be some money coming from somewhere. And also, the springtime is a fortunate position for you in anything that you want to do. Okay, so that is a great time to take new chances and think outside the box, which Sagittarian often does, but they don't always follow through. And it is also the time of the ego. And in this case, it can mean a fear of, moving forward. a fear of doing more than thinking outside the box. But you have to understand the ego is also about the I, and this is going to be about you. And it seems like this is the year of you. I mean, I'm getting this vibe all over the place that you need to do you, right? And working aspect, you're going to be very, very busy going into the summer. And that's going to carry you through the summer. So it's going to be a very active summer. But I'm hoping it's because you have made some good decisions for your own life, and you're going to make 2025 better than 2024 has been. A lot of people say 2024 hasn't been bad, but if you've had a lot of bad things, I mean, just like changes in general that maybe have been warranted, at least the opportunity shows up. I can't tell you that you're going to make those opportunities happen. You could take the fear of the ego instead of realizing this is what I want and I need to do it, and not do it. Totally, that ball is in your court. I can only show you where opportunity is. So work is very strong. If you have been unemployed and you've been looking for a job, or you're looking for a job in the summer, I mean, those months seem to be where that ability to even make more money is going to be. But you need to be selfish. If you're in a dead-end job, you need to be selfish and start thinking about, thinking outside the box and then doing. So in the fall months, coming back to where, we are now at your birthday, the Saints and Masters card shows up. This is a great card because, whether you're religious or not, doesn't have to be Catholic saints, but it's representative of the ascended masters and the ones that watch over us. And not just spirit guides, but all of them. And it is saying that you might be feeling a little overwhelmed in the fall. That could be this new job that you're still training for or something. Whatever it might be, it could be family problems, but you need to make sure that you're not alone, or that you realize you're not alone, because they're all watching over you and they know whatever you're going through is going to be okay. All right, that's another thing about Sagittarius, kind of overthinking in a lot of aspects of life. So don't overthink things. You are not alone, okay? You are not alone. They are all watching over you, and this could be a blip on the map. This could be something that is very temporary. So I don't want you to think that it's going to be all blown out of proportion, because, well, like I said, overall 2025 looks good for you. Or at least, from here till your next birthday. And this is really a great card to line up with the Fortune card. It's the Independence card. And together, it can be financial independence. And I don't think I can say that every Sagittarius out here is going to be wealthy next year. But there's definitely going to be a boost of income for most of you. And there's also this need for, understand this. This was like sort of your theme card, right? And it looks kind of like Arizona. And then here's the Independence card. So they're very, very related. And this is going to be a good time in the fall, this time next year, to consider traveling, to consider maybe even breaking up with people that are toxic, and just sort of cleaning house. And it could be all kinds of relationships. Sometimes it's family, but it's time to make assessments. And if you're afraid to make those kind of changes, remember, you're not alone. You have a lot of support there, and they will make sure you land on your feet. And it looks like maybe at this time in your life that you're sort of ready for that kind of change. But for everybody, that's going to mean something different as far as what we need to assess and clean house of. And then finally, the heart chakra. That's a great card too. It's matters of the heart. It also kind of goes with that bliss card as far as finding your joy. So it's feeling a sense of love, acceptance, and understanding. And whether that's of you or someone else, it really goes well with the Independence card. So let's just say you're in a toxic relationship. This is the only thing I can think of at the moment, but you can apply this to a lot of things. that you're afraid to move away from a relationship that is serving you no purpose. And it is showing that you'll have independence and freedom from that, and it'll do your heart good. It'll bring a sense of release. And sometimes we have to look backwards to see, oh, what was that about? Well, we have to learn those life lessons. Never walk away from a situation that didn't, come with life lessons that you were supposed to learn. Otherwise, you repeat the class, right? So, all right, with that said, happy birthday again. And I will talk to you soon. And by the way, if I look a little different, I'm trying that new camera app that goes with my little DJI Osmo. See, I can't even use it, let alone say it right. So I'm learning about it all the time. There's some camera settings I want to mess with, but I know it kind of looks like a filter and it's a little choppy. So I have to find stability, and I know that the filters are turned off. I think I said it in another video. I have no idea, no idea how to use a filter. So just want to let you know, no filters. Okay, love you all. So I want you to make it a great day. Feel blessed because you're blessed. And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.